the first episode of Tristen Topia Radio, the podcast series that I'm going to be starting, where I just play Minecraft and talk about whatever I'm thinking about. And I decided for the first episode, we're going to start off with something a little bit fun, a little bit easy. Um, and that is where the name I want to kind of explain where the name of my channel kind of came from, cuz it's kind of a fun little story that I like telling, and I want to share this story with all of you who listen to this podcast, this first episode 1 of Tristen Topia Radio. So, to start, the name Tristen Topia goes kind of way back to when I was in 5th grade. We were doing a thing called Lego League, and I wasn't really doing much in the moment to help with it. So I was kind of just messing around with some of the Lego pieces that we were using for the building of the models and that go on the table. Um, and I was messing around with the tires, with the tire pieces that would be for the little robot that you build for the Lego for the little robot that does all the little tasks on the Lego League board. Um, but um, I decided I was gonna call it Tristen Topia. And so the other kids in my class, yeah, they kind of were gonna entertaining me, you know, um, with it. And just over the years, I've kind of developed the idea of Tristen Topia. It went from being one city to being a collection of cities. Um, and I just kept kind of adding cities just over time as time went on, and it started out with Tristen Topia, then then it came to Tristen City, then it came to, then I believe I created Tristen Town, the third, then I created another small little farming town called Tristen Flats, and then I created, excuse me, and then Tristanapolis happened. Tristanapolis was created, and then the final town that I created was Tristadelphia, which was basically just a Tristan version of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. And then the thing with Tristen Topia is the majority of the Tristan citizens, which is what I call them, they're all share my name. They're all called Tristan. And all the Tristans look like me. Of course, you guys don't really know because I have not done any kind of face reveal, and I don't plan on doing one for a good long while, if I ever do one at all. And um and it's not like it's just Tristan, because let's get this straight. Let me get the location of the I'm getting ahead of myself. So all of the cities are part of the larger country that I've created. I've just kind of created. called the United called it was originally called um what did I originally call it? I originally called it the Tristan Republic, I believe. Then I called it the United Tristan Republic. Um, but I realize now that it was really not a republic because I was the supreme ruler. Everyone answered to me. I made all the laws and stuff, and I so it was more like a monarchy, if anything, and and well, but it kind of been over time. I've kind of been changing it, but that's getting ahead of myself still. And so this country that I created, um, called the United Tristan Republic. The majority of the population look like me, but the location of this country was on Mars. Okay, so but the country itself, it started out being like a pioneer like type settlement, just a small settlement, and then it slowly grew and grew and grew, and eventually it became incredibly technologically advanced. More so because the way I did the timeline for it, it puts it being existing longer, way before any countries on Earth were created. So the United States Republic was like a thousand years or so more advanced than any of the countries on Earth. So a lot of our technology was was about a thousand years more advanced. So you could just visualize what that city would look like in your head. Um, but yeah, over the years, I just slowly kind of have developed this country, and I even have slowly started to develop it in a way that makes it more democratic. Um, it's kind of like it is modeled more after the United States. How the United States uh government works, although I've worked to try to like kind of, make sure there's like no corruption, as I think everybody knows there is in the US government. But I'm not getting political here. I'm not here to get political, so I'm just gonna stop that conversation right here, right now. Um, but so I basically what I did, how I basically have slowly kind of been developing it is I all with all the cities, I started having them function more like states that are in the U.S. and all of the mayors of the cities start to function as as governors, and then the way it was they all answered to me basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They all still answered. So they and then what I eventually did is I created the Tristan Congress, which the mayors who became governors of the cities um were elected by the Tristen citizens, and they were also and what I also eventually did is created a Tristen Congress, which which didn't really have any lawmaking power. Didn't have any lawmaking power. I still had the sole authority to make laws, but they could make laws if they had my permission. But the members of the Tristan Congress were also elected by the Tristan citizens. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the whole thing of like this pretend country that I created, it didn't just stop at the government structure. I created schools and hospitals. I had this app called Planner 5D on my iPad, and just used it to design like all these buildings for the United Tristan Republic. I've created like a hospital, urgent care. I created the schools and universities and colleges, and I've just been slow. It just has, and the United Tristan Republic has just slowly developed just over the years, and has become more and more complex as the years have gone on. And I have just been, and it's just I have had so much fun just developing this country. This is actually what inspired me to make. This is what actually inspired Minecraft Conquest. Actually, the series Minecraft Conquest, the ongoing series that I've been doing on the channel. Minecraft Conquest, the way I've been has been largely inspired from the United Tristan Republic, and it's kind of what inspired me to start the series in the first place. That's the kind of like the long term, the long game goal that I have for Minecraft Conquest is create a bunch of smaller towns that eventually grow into cities. Like I don't expect Minecraft. I expect Minecraft Conquest to last a long time, a very long time. Cause there's so much I want to do in this world. There's so much I want to build. I want to build. I want to basically, in some capacity, it kind of comes from from I guess as a make for me wanting to make the United Tristan Republic exist in some capacity, in some way outside of just in my head, and I guess that is a good allegory for when you want something when you want something bad enough. I suppose you will do any. When you want something, you will do. Oftentimes, you will do. If you have the drive, you will make it. You will do what you can to possibly make that happen. And I think that could be. I think that can be equivocated to a lot of things in life. Like if you say I'll use the thing of being in college because I did go to college. Um, if you're in, say you're in college, you're getting your degree. You really want a degree, say in education. You really want this degree. You wanted it like your entire life. Or at least since you became a teenager, let's say, or since you were a kid even. If you really want that degree and you're really driven to wanting that teaching degree or whatever field of education you want to be in, if you are driven enough and you want that degree hard enough, then you are going to be willing to put in the work to get that degree. And if you're for most of the vast majority of the time, if you want to, if you put in the work, that work will usually pay off. If you are driven enough and you're determined to accomplish your goal, then you will go through hell and back to make sure you accomplish that goal. For seeing that goal that you have is in fact doable for you. Because for some people, I think there's some people who often will have expectations that are way too high for themselves, or they'll have a goal that just isn't feasible for them. Either it just will never be feasible for them, or it's not feasible for them in their current life, in where they currently are in life. And for people who just they don't end up accomplishing their goal, and because of that they don't end up accomplishing their goal when they want to or when they think they should. And that can cause a person to become discouraged and very discouraged, and make them just want to completely give up. They'll just be like, "Oh, I tried this and it isn't for me." And there's cases where that's true, where you try something and it's not for you. And that's okay. That's just part of learning what you like and what you don't like, what you're into, what you're not into. That's how you learn as a person. That's how you learn and grow as a person. So it's okay to do things and find out you're not really into them. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that's how you grow as a person. But I think where it becomes a problem is if you don't take that lesson. If you keep trying to make it happen, and it just is, and the universe just has shown you repeatedly. You've been shown repeatedly that it's just not going to happen, but you keep trying to do it. You just keep trying to will it into existence. Sometimes there are times you have to know when to give up or when to keep going. There's just sometimes there's times where it's just not the right time for something to happen. It's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately, way life is a lot of times. And I know it sucks. It sucks. But a lot of times that's just the way life is, and unfortunately. Sometimes things just don't go the way you think they do, and that can, depending on how you look at it, your view on life, that's either good, you either see that as good, or you see it as bad. But I think the most important thing is just as long as your goal is realistic and it's attainable for you, then I don't see any reason why you have to give up. It might not come. It might not come. Things that you want to happen might not happen right away. It might happen a week from when you start. It might happen a month from you start. It might take a year. It might take several years, but it will happen. And going back, let me going back to the college. Yeah, so if you really want, if there's a certain degree in college that you want, and you really want it, you will go more often than not. Your effort, if your effort and if you're driven enough, your efforts will eventually be rewarded. And you will be very happy with yourself when you eventually accomplish that goal. Because it will be something that you accomplished on your own. With also possibly your friends and family supporting you along the way. I think I think yeah. The things that we work the hardest for, I think, are the make the reward from them even more sweeter. But yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on that thing. Back to the topic at hand. Uh, so this podcast itself, the reason why I decided to call it Tristen Topia Radio, is because it's kind of another branch off of the country I have created, the United Tristan Republic, and with the Tristen Topia is the capital of the United Tristan Republic, and the whole thing with Tristen Radio is Tristen Topia Radio would be a radio station inside of Tristen Topia, which broadcasts to the entirety of the which can broadcast the entirety of the United Tristan Republic. And it'd be kind of like what do you say, a major news outlet in the United Tristan Republic. Not that we don't have TVs, not that we don't have like things like TVs and stuff. We absolutely do. We have lots of those. They're the main thing. But radio, we also do fully also have respect for radio in the United Tristan Republic, and and Tristen Radio would be kind of doing podcast type thing. Tristen Topia Radio would be kind of be doing things like this podcast, like I'm doing now, kind of stuff like that. It'd kind of be like our equivalent of like NPR, which is a public broadcast radio in here in the U.S. Um, I guess that would be like an equivalent to what Tristen Topia Radio is. Uh, does like podcast type stuff and news. But yeah, this is just another. This is kind of like a whole nother little like branch off of United Tristan Republic. The United Tristan Republic. Just more world building. And maybe, who knows? This podcast may make appearances in Minecraft Conquest at some point eventually. Might make cameos in Minecraft Conquest. Who knows? Who knows where that series is gonna go? Who knows where Minecraft Conquest is gonna go? But yeah, my kind of goal for Tristen Topia Radio is to just kind of do more of a podcast style series. More of a podcast style series. That one that you can just sit and just have on in the background as you're doing other stuff. That's kind of my whole goal with Tristen Topia Radio. Yeah, kind of like, yeah. It's just meant to be a chill podcast here. Just chill. We're just chilling as I do stuff in as I do this kind of stuff in the Minecraft world, the Minecraft Conquest world, and that kind of stuff. And I will just be talking about any like kind of topics that anything that kind of just is on my mind, stuff that I think about, because I'm just kind of constantly thinking about random stuff. I talk to myself quite frequently when I'm by myself, which unfortunately, yeah. And unfortunately, you can't really talk to yourself. It's not really seen as like you really can't talk to yourself in real life, because people might think you're a little loco in the cabeza. They might think you're a little loco in the cabeza. If they just see you, if they just see like a random person just in public babbling to themselves, just babbling to themselves. Or maybe they would have like a while ago. They might have a little while, like more in like the past. Maybe it might be more accepted now. I don't know. I'm not brave enough to try. I don't know. I'm not really brave enough to try to. I don't, cause I don't know why. I don't know why I would care if people think I'm crazy. Because if they think I'm crazy, that's more than their problem. I feel like that would be kind of their problem. That kind of brings me to another little topic I have. Kind of like like what like things that society often sees as acceptable, and because like there's all these social norms that people that a society has for how a person is expected to act, how how you're supposed to talk to others, and that kind of stuff. But I agree. You need to be. I think obviously a good social thing for people is you need to be nice to people. You need to be decent to each other. You need to be decent to each other. You need to be nice to each other. And I think that's a kind of there's far too many people in this world who feel too comfortable not speaking nice to not being nice to people, especially if they have differing opinions to them. Like you get differing positions to them, and they're just like, "You're wrong. You're an idiot. You're stupid." And it's like, It's like, why is this seen as okay? Why do some people see this as being like an okay way to talk to people? It's, and I think in a lot of ways, social media has kind of made this so much worse with the level of anonymity, because with the level of anonymity that social media gives people, it often has made people feel way more comfortable with saying things to people that they would never say to somebody directly say to somebody's face, because you could just say it on like on the an online message board, and the person, and more than likely you will never see that person. Your odds of seeing that person are like zero. Are pretty much zero. So you basically are able to say not nice things to people and basically get away with it and not face any consequences. And I think that's kind of the dark side of social media that so many people have talked about. That a lot of people, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have talked about. It's made people, social media has made people feel, I mean, way too comfortable talking, just saying really nasty things to people. I mean, criticism is one thing. If you're posting stuff online like I am to YouTube, you should expect some level of criticism. But to me, there's a difference between criticism and just being mean. Yeah, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. Criticizing somebody because you disagree with something with them is one thing. But it's another thing to just to blatantly say nasty things to people. And I think social media, the bad thing about social media is it's just made people way too comfortable to say with saying those nasty things, those just blatantly nasty things. And it takes a toll on people. That kind of stuff, people forget that the people that then they say those nasty things to people on social media, they tend to forget that is a real person that you are talking to on the other side of your screen. That is a real person you are saying that to. And those words that you're saying to them are very much affecting them. So if you would never say that to somebody, say if you're thinking of saying something, if you would never, you gotta think to yourself. Would I be willing to say this to this person, to their face? And if your answer is no, then that's a good sign. Then you probably shouldn't say it. You absolutely should. Not even probably. You absolutely just shouldn't say it. If you would never say something, if it's something you would never say to somebody's face, then it's just something you shouldn't say it. And then that should be like the end of the story. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't really understand that. Don't seem to really understand that. And I think that just comes down to possibly being a failure with. I think that has to start with people's parents teaching them that stuff. Like the people's parents at a young age need to be need to tell you how you speak to people, and that you don't. And saying mean things to people is never okay, even if it's online, because you're affecting a real person. Drink of my lemonade here. I'm not used to talking this much. I'm talking more than I'm used to. Thank you for watching this first episode of Tristen Topia Radio. If you liked this video, please leave a like, subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. I'd very much appreciate it. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. Have a good day.